Hey everyone, and welcome back to Art a la Carte, and in this episode I'm going to teach you how to draw Spottedleaf from the Warrior Cat series. Unless it doesn't look like her, then I'm just drawing a normal cat. So, because a lot of times we get a lot of debate about these cats and what they look like. But I did post this picture on my Instagram and asked you guys to guess which cat it was, and almost all of you said it was Spottedleaf, so I think I'm safe with this one. I took a lot of different reference photos to use while drawing. This is one of them, and I'm just going to try kind of draw her in a relaxed pose. So I'm just sketching her in. I'm going really light, really smooth. I'm not worried about any detail. I'm just trying to get the shape. The big important thing about this is that you want to draw lightly, because if you draw with a really heavy hand and you can't easily erase that line completely, then you're drawing too dark and it's going to mess up your sketch. So during this sketch out process, you want to draw as lightly as you possibly can. Obviously you guys can see this is pretty light because you can barely see it, but again, you're not going in for the detail. While I'm drawing her face, I'm going to really slim it down a little bit more than it was in different reference photos. This is going to add for a little bit more feminine feline look to her. And so it gives it a little bit more of an illustrated look as opposed to realistic. So if you wanted to go realistic, you might not slim the face down this much, but I did just because I was going for that look. And again, so I'm just mapping out the cat shape, looking again at the reference photos, but you'll notice I'm changing it up. I'm not sticking with this exact photo. I took some really good cues off of it, but I'm making it my own. Have fun with that. Don't think that you have to make something look exactly like your reference photo, because that's where a lot of times as artists you can get frustrated. It is good exercise to try to do that, but you know, as a rule, I don't. I take many different reference photos and go from those. But just keep working at it until you get the basic shape and outline the way you like it. Don't go in for those details. And again, I'm kind of darkening it a little bit so you guys can see a little bit of the shape, because I'm realizing it's not reading very well on the camera, but I wouldn't even worry about this part about darkening in anything, because in a minute I'm going to erase everything and then I'm going to start inking it in. I want to add a fun little background, but I don't want the whole picture to be a background. So I'm going to use a template, and for this one I'm just using a embroidery hoop, and I'm going to draw a little bit of circle, and then around the circle I'm just going to have some just leaves and flowers kind of growing up in that. It's going to kind of give it a little fun look to that piece. So now I'm going to go ahead and begin inking this in. I'm going to use my micron pen. I use, I think, a 03. I really enjoy the microns, as long as you remember to keep that cap on them. If you leave your cap off and walk away, you're going to have a very dried out ink pen by the end of the day. But if you keep that pen on there nice and tight when you're not using it, they last a pretty good time, as long as you don't put a lot of pressure on that nib. You can really wear your nib down fast if you're heavy-handed. But the ink itself is, I love it because it just lasts a long time. Ink that in, erase that, and then the rest of the portion is going to be me coloring in this cat. I'm not going to do a tutorial on this right now. You're going to be seeing in the upcoming tutorials that I'm going to be using my markers. I have the Spectrum Noir brand markers, and this is just me learning them. I don't want to try to teach you something that I don't know how it works, but to do so I have to practice with them. So you're just going to see me practicing with them. Sometimes you'll see me make mistakes and you'll see how I fix those mistakes, and I'll get into that later when I do a review or an actual how I use them kind of video on the Spectrum Noirs. It's going to be still a little while because I'm still figuring out the ins and outs. But I do have reference photos that I use for a tortoiseshell cat, which is what the books describe Spottedleaf as. There's several different versions of them. There's like the brown, dark brown ones, which my friend had several of those when I was growing up. And then there's a white-based tortoiseshell, and I don't know if the books ever go into the detail whether she's a white-based or a brown-based tortoiseshell. I looked at fan art, and there's fan art for both of them, so I just had to guess, and I thought this one looked a little more feminine with the white undertone, made her look a little more gentle, a little bit more delicate. I read the first book. It was about maybe 3 years ago, so what I remember from her is that she was, kind of a medicine cat that helped cats be healthy and all that. So, nurses wear white, so I thought, yeah, I think she'd have a white undertone. But yeah, just had some fun with that, practicing that out as well. After I finished putting in the marker, then I decided that I need to go in and just add in some white touches. So I went and got my white gel pen and began to add in just like the shines in her eyes. There's a couple places that the marker would bleed over into the pen, like in her face, so I just fixed that up with the pen and then added in whiskers and little eyebrow whiskers and all that. And then in places where the white fur would blend into the black fur, I kind of added a little extra lining there just to kind of help blend those in together. And yeah, I think she turned out pretty good, and I'm actually very happy with how the markers worked out. Every time I use them, they get a little bit easier and all that fun stuff. So hopefully this encouraged you and you want to draw your own spotted leaf cat. If I drew her wrong, draw her correctly and take me in a photo. You can post it to my Facebook page or Instagram. Love to see those pictures. Check out some of these other cat drawing videos. And until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.